Imagine being reborn in a fantasy world teeming with monsters and hunters. You'd think it's your big break, until you realize your family in this realm is flat broke. Somehow you awaken a system and become a beast tamer. Great, right? Except, you can't afford a beast because, well, you're still broke. Finally, you get your hands on a beast, but it turns out to be just your pet turtle. On the bright side, your girlfriend is both super hot and super rich. This sounds interesting, right? Well, this is the roller coaster life of our protagonist. Armed with a turtle and dating out of his league, how on earth will he navigate this wild world? Before we dive into our tale, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. It's easier than taming dragons, I promise. This story takes place in Jang Joo City on May 20th, 2024. Like in many MMORPG games and Manhwa, a huge purple portal opened in the sky. A loud alarm sounded, announcing that another space rift had appeared above Jang Joo. Monsters emerged from the portal and began attacking the citizens. A team of superpowered humans, much like the Avengers, arrived to fight these monsters. They were the 3rd Division of the Korean Defense Force, known as Hunters. These Hunters possessed powers like super strength, super speed, elemental control, and more. The Hunters joined the battlefield and started killing the monsters, quickly gaining the upper hand. However, a powerful gold-tier monster appeared, the Wolf King of the 6-eared wolf tribe. After killing a powerful hunter, it looked at the humans and said, "These insignificant humans are still resisting. Wiping you out is only a matter of time." Saying this, it joined the battle and began killing human soldiers like ants. Nothing survived its claws. The leader of the hunters was shocked to see a gold-tier monster and wondered if this was a high-level portal. The Wolf King laughed and told the hunter's leader that it was too late to realize this. Before they could engage in a battle to the death, someone appeared at high speed. It was a high-ranking official who asked the 3rd Division Hunter Group to leave the Wolf King to him and go handle the other monsters. This high-ranking officer was Mr. Wenyuan, and his presence motivated all the hunters. The battle between the Wolf King and Mr. Wenyuan began. After clearing the portal, the 3rd Division Hunter leader returned to report to her superior. She reported that with Mr. Wenyuan's help, they successfully defeated the invading 6-eared demon wolf tribe. Her superior praised her for her work, but was worried because this was yet another new rift, and it was still only a C-class one. This was the 6th one in the past 10 years. He feared that at this rate, Jang Joo wouldn't hold out for long, though it was beyond their control. The superior announced that starting this year, Wuda Martial Academy would exempt awakened individuals from cultural exams, and the academic admission score for martial artists would be cut in half. He ordered the 3rd Division Hunter leader to check on the academy's progress. At Wuda Martial Academy, the bell rang, signaling the end of the first class. A boy noticed his friend daydreaming and asked why he wasn't paying attention again. He teased him, saying that if he failed to get into Wuda Academy due to low academic scores, it would be embarrassing. His friend, still lost in his daydream, replied that it would be amazing to sit next to a beauty like Yanran. The girl he was referring to was Yanran, the top beauty of the academy. While everyone's attention was on her, her attention was focused on our protagonist, seated next to her. Yanran smiled and asked him, since graduation was approaching, if he planned to attend the Literary Academy, or Wuda Academy. Our protagonist, Su-bai, lost in his books, replied that he didn't know. He explained that if he went to the Literary Academy, his grades were only average. Besides, in these chaotic times, what use were foreign languages and advanced mathematics? And if he chose Wuda Academy, his family wasn't wealthy enough to afford all the supplements. Plus, he had no special abilities or talents, and was wondering himself where he should go. Su-bai was frustrated, thinking that since he had crossed into another world, he should have some kind of fate-altering opportunity, or awakened system. Yes, you heard it right, he was from another world, but he was beginning to doubt whether he had even transmigrated at all. Yanran, with her gentle voice, called Su-bai and suggested, "Why don't you join me in applying to the Literary Academy? I have a way to guarantee your admission." "What?" Su-bai asked in shock. Yanran asked him to keep his voice down. Just as she said that, a system window popped up in front of Su-bai's eyes. He was shocked, wondering what this was and how it just appeared. The system was bound to him as the host, displaying his stats. His species was Ordinary Initial Stage. He was currently level 18 and 18 years old. His stats showed 4 points in physique, 5 in agility, and 5 in mental strength. He had a trainer trait, meaning he could use any living being as a trainee, and the system would automatically detect suitable contracts. His current trainable limit was 1. His talent was evolution, allowing infinite evolution for all contracted trainees, with no upper limit to level progression, even breaking through racial limits. The trainee's hidden values and abilities would feed back to him, with higher levels providing a greater feedback ratio. Known levels were categorized as ordinary, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, lord tier, mid-tier, and divine, with each level having initial, intermediate, and advanced stages. Seeing this information, Subai realized that this was his system. Yanran, confused, saw Subai staring into the air and asked if he was okay. From her reaction, he understood that no one else could see it except him. He grabbed Yanran's hand and told her he was fine. Yanran blushed when he touched her hand, but all the boys in the class became angry, shouting for Subai to get his filthy paws off their goddess. One particularly angry guy shouted, "Subai, watch how I'll teach you a lesson." But a beautiful teacher stepped in, asking everyone to calm down, and just her words were enough to settle the class. The teacher announced, "I have good news. Jang Joo Martial Academy just posted on their website that, starting with your class, awakened individuals are exempt from cultural exams and can directly enroll in Jang Joo Martial Academy. Students with preliminary martial artist physiques will also have their academic requirements cut in half." Hearing this, the whole class cheered with excitement, thinking they could definitely get into Wuda Academy now. As the class ended, the teacher asked students who had already awakened abilities or had a martial foundation to come to her office to register. Hearing the news, Subai thought, "This is interesting. I just got my abilities, and I'm already exempt from exams to get into Wuda Academy." Seeing him deep in thought, Yanran wondered if he was really considering Wuda Academy. The scene then shifted to outside, where Subai was walking home. He appeared normal on the outside, but Subai had something that set him apart. He was not originally from this world. He had transmigrated into this strange world 17 years ago. In this world, on September 18, 1906, a massive space rift had suddenly appeared in the sky. From this rift emerged countless strange beasts that soon rampaged everywhere. Armies from various countries fought against these alien creatures, and it took 3 months to eliminate the beasts from the rifts. However, as long as the rifts remained, new batches of alien beasts would periodically emerge. To counter this, humanity decided to send death squads into the rifts to explore. They discovered a vast, boundless land beyond the rifts, and to prevent the endless flow of alien beasts, military forces from various countries constructed bases within the sky rifts to defend against the beasts at their source. A new era for humanity officially began. On March 6, 1907, the second sky rift appeared. On May 7, 1907, the third rift appeared, then the fourth, and then the fifth. Over the following century, the number of rifts increased, and their appearances became more frequent. Now, rifts have spread across the globe, with each one harboring different alien beast species. Scientists named the battlegrounds behind the sky rifts the battlefield of 10,000 races. Meanwhile, Earth's spiritual energy began to recover, and humans gradually awakened martial abilities and supernatural powers. As the battles intensified, conventional weapons frequently failed on the battlefield, while the power of awakened individuals grew. Eventually, they replaced traditional weapons as the dominant force. The war between humanity and the 10,000 races continues to this day. Judging from the reforms at Jang Joo Martial Academy, Subai sensed that the situation in Jang Joo had become quite dire. "Since I've got this system now, I might as well use it to protect my family in this chaotic world." He knew that if he wanted to quickly enhance his strength, the fastest way was through the military-supported martial academies. Luckily for him, he had awakened the trainer ability. With just one trained beast, he could get into the academy without taking the exam. Looking at his balance, he hoped that the 2,000 yuan he had saved over the years would be enough. When he entered a beast shop, he noticed there was no system notification, leaving him confused. The system had said it would automatically detect something suitable, so why was there no reaction? A shop staff member welcomed him and asked how she could help. Subai told her he was a beast trainer and asked what kinds of beasts they had. Pointing at a black cat, the staff member told him, "It's pretty ordinary but high-priced. It has the bloodline of a nether cat and can easily reach the silver rank. It's selling for 36,000. Subai was shocked at how expensive one ordinary black cat was. The staff member then showed him a 4-eared dog with the bloodline of the 6-eared demon wolf, selling for just 33,000. She showed him many beasts one after another, and with each beast, the price kept increasing. Finally, she turned to Subai and asked which one he thought was best for him. But when she turned around, Subai was nowhere to be found. He had left the shop thinking, "Are they robbing me? Just because it has a bit of beast bloodline, it's this expensive? And where's my system? Isn't there anything suitable for me here?" Disappointed, he returned home. Just as he entered, a system notification appeared, saying, "Detected a suitable beginner taming creature. Little turtle, do Do you want to tame it? Subai was surprised that the system was finally responding. When he saw the name Little Turtle, he looked over at his dad's pet turtle, wondering if that was the creature the system was referring to. Immediately, the turtle's information popped up. It's tamed beast. Name is Little Turtle. Common level initial stage beast. It has traces of the Xuanwu turtle bloodline and can grow infinitely and eventually slay gods. Its average attributes, such as constitution, defense, spirit, and speed is 2. Its ability is turtle shell defense and eating is its evolution method. Subai was intrigued by the system's response and the potential of this little turtle. Subai was shocked to discover that his little turtle had profound, limitless growth potential, ultimately leading to the slaying of gods. He jumped in happiness, shouting, "Now that's more like it. How much would this be worth? I'm not trading it, no matter what." He was thrilled, but his happiness didn't last long. Because he was making so much noise, his sister, Su Xia, came out of her room. When she saw him holding the little turtle like that, she angrily shouted, "Subai, what are you planning to do with little 8? That's Dad's treasure." Subai quickly let go of the turtle and told her he hadn't done anything. Just as he released it, the turtle immediately jumped into a grocery bag, eating all the food from the bag in an instant. Both Subai and his sister were shocked by the little glutton. Su Xia asked Subai why the turtle was eating so much, especially since they had just fed it that morning. Watching it devour everything, Subai remembered the system notification and realized that the turtle's appetite had increased and that it might be evolving. He told his sister he was going to find it more food. Half an hour later, Subai's mother and father came home, shocked to see the state of the house. They asked Subai if the house had been robbed. In just half an hour, the little turtle had eaten all the food in the house and was now chasing Su Xia for her last snack. Subai's father was too shocked and asked him, "Is this really our little turtle? Can turtles run this fast?" Subai then explained what was happening. The entire house had turned upside down in just half an hour. This situation made Subai think, Dad and Mom already have a hard time as it is. I'd better not tell them little 8 is a bottomless pit. He decided to handle it himself. Meanwhile, after devouring everything in the house, the little turtle finally stopped. Su Xia was very angry at it, but as the turtle seemed satisfied, a huge robotic turtle form suddenly appeared from its body. Subai was shocked and asked, "Is this glutton finally full, or is it about to awaken its bloodline?" The scene then shifts to day 2. Little Turtle's explosive growth had come and gone, but its Xuanwu bloodline still hadn't awakened, and it had started eating even more. This was why Subai had come back to the pet shop again. When he entered, there were already 2 guests inside. When the shop staff member saw Subai, she asked if he had decided on what he wanted. He told her he wasn't here to buy this time. Getting closer to the staff member, he said, "I have exotic beast blood. Are you guys buying?" The staff member was shocked and asked him to confirm if he really had exotic beast blood. Hearing the words beast blood, one of the guests said goodbye to the other guest and immediately approached Subai. That man was the shop owner. He told the staff member to leave it to him and take care of other tasks. He then approached Subai and said, "Young man, come this way, and let's sit down for a chat. You said you have exotic beast blood. Do you mind if I examine it?" Subai handed him the beast blood and told him to go ahead. When the pet shop owner smelled the beast blood, he was shocked. "It's really exotic beast blood, and high quality too," he exclaimed. He asked Subai how much he wanted for it. Subai thought that it took so much effort to draw that small amount of blood from Little Turtle, so it had to be worth at least $100, right? But before he could say $100, the shop owner offered him $1,000. "What, $1,000? Subai responded in shock. Seeing his reaction, the shop owner misunderstood, thinking Subai was angry at the low price and actually knew how much it was worth. Laughing, the shop owner said, "Just a joke. Such a high-quality product is, of course, worth $10,000. In shock, Subai shouted, $10,000? The shop owner misunderstood again, thinking Subai was getting angry at the low price, and raised the offer to $15,000. Subai was stunned and covered his mouth, thinking, who would have guessed that Little Turtle is so valuable? It's getting difficult to keep my smile hidden. He turned around to hide his excitement and said, "Fine, it's a deal. If I didn't need the money, I wouldn't sell it at all." After getting the money, he left the shop, with the shop owner personally seeing him off and saying, "Take care, young friend. If you come across such good stuff again, you're always welcome to come to me." Walking away, Subai looked at his balance and was thrilled. He hadn't thought exotic beast blood was worth so much. 15,000 had just fallen into his lap like that. Little Turtle could be proud of himself this time. While he was walking, he suddenly got a call from his teacher, Ms. Lee. She told him that the results for cultural studies had just been released, And there was also an important announcement. She asked him to please drop by the school that afternoon to fill out his application form, and not to be late. Subai tried to ask Ms. Lee what the important announcement was, but there was no reply. Actually, it wasn't that she didn't reply. It was because Subai's old phone had no signal again. While talking, Subai hadn't noticed that he had wandered into an alleyway. Suddenly, a system warning notification popped up in front of him, telling him that there were 3 people nearby who bore great ill intent toward the host. They were currently within 10 meters. The notification read that Enemy 1's level is Beginner Cultivator. Enemy 2's level is Ordinary Person. Enemy 3's level is Ordinary Person. Subai was shocked to see the notification, and when he turned around, he saw 3 people behind him with weapons. He had been marked by thugs. The leader of the thugs was the same guy Subai had seen in the pet shop talking to the owner. The thug leader demanded that Subai hand over his belongings, assuming that, judging by the pet shop owner's attitude, Subai must have something valuable on him. Subai felt unlucky, but told the thugs that he had gone to the shop to sell something, not to buy. However, Subai had no intention of handing over the money. He thought that if the thug leader was only at the level of a beginner cultivator, he stood a chance. The thug leader insisted, telling Subai to just hand over the money. Subai replied, "Fine, I'll hand over the money," and took his little turtle out of the bag, instructing it to retract into its shell. Immediately, little turtle hid in its shell, and Subai threw it like a rock at the thug leader. The thug leader used his baseball bat to defend himself, angrily shouting, "You little bastard!" But before he could attack, Subai quickly moved and kicked the thug leader in the groin, nearly incapacitating him. The thug leader fell to the ground in pain. The other 2 thugs were shocked to see their leader like that, and chased after Subai, shouting, "How dare you touch our boss!" Subai and Little Turtle immediately ran away. While running, Subai asked his turtle if the baseball bat hurt him. Little Turtle replied that it just felt itchy. It couldn't speak human language, but Subai could now understand its words. The 2 thugs caught up and lunged at Subai. Seeing them close, Subai asked Little Turtle to latch onto his fist. Little Turtle immediately latched on, and Subai used it like a boxing glove, punching one thug in the face and sending him flying. Then, he turned around and smashed the 3rd thug's face into the ground. The thug leader, still in pain, managed to stand up and said, "You little bastard, I'm gonna kill you." Seeing him get up, Subai asked Little Turtle to get back into its shell. Little Turtle immediately hid in its shell, and Subai, with full force, threw it at the thug leader, hitting him directly and knocking him out in one hit. After defeating all of them, Subai picked up his bag and warned them not to mess with him. But suddenly, he noticed Little Turtle rummaging through the thug leader's belongings. Little Turtle found a bottle and immediately started drinking from it. Seeing this, Subai ran toward Little Turtle shouting, "What are you drinking? Did you find something good?" He snatched the bottle from Little Turtle to check it. It turned out to be a chi blood potion worth tens of thousands. Suddenly, Little Turtle started experiencing difficulty, and its body began to glow. The potion was enough for a cultivator to absorb over a whole month, but Little Turtle had consumed it all in one go. Subai worried whether Little Turtle could even digest it, but then he was surprised. Not because of Little Turtle, but because his own body started glowing as well. He felt an intense surge of strength. He immediately checked his status window and found that he was now a mid-stage ordinary level hunter. His level had increased along with that of his tamed beast. His constitution was now 16, with a base attribute value of 10 points and 6 attribute points inherited from his tamed beast. He now had 2 talents. The first was evolution, which allowed his tamed beast to undergo unlimited evolution, with no limit to its grade, even up to the mythical grade. The attributes and talents of his tamed beast would be inherited by him to a certain extent, with higher grade beasts providing greater inheritance. The second talent was Turtle Skin Defense, which consumed a certain amount of physical energy to activate. When activated, a layer of turtle skin would cover his body, greatly increasing his defense. Subai was surprised to see the amazing effect of the Chi Blood Potion. His attributes had increased significantly, and he had even gained a new talent. Not only did Subai level up, but his little turtle also leveled up. Little Turtle's grade was now mid-stage ordinary, though the Xuanwu bloodline had not yet awakened. However, upon reaching the bronze grade, the bloodline would partially activate, greatly increasing its attributes. From an average of 2, Little Turtle's attributes had increased significantly. Its constitution was now 32, defense was 38, and both agility and spirit were 10. Little Turtle now also had 2 talents. The first was Turtle Shell Defense. When activated, it allowed the turtle to retract fully into its shell, forming a defensive posture that increased its defense by 300%. In this state, It could not move or attack. The second talent was Turtle Skin Defense, which consumed a certain amount of physical energy and increased its defense by 50% to 100%. Subai was shocked to see Little Turtle's body grow larger, with a constitution of 32 and defense of 38. He remembered learning in class that even power-type beasts typically had attributes around 30 when they were high-stage ordinary grade. He couldn't imagine how amazing Little Turtle would be once it awakened, given how powerful it already was without awakening. Little Turtle was very proud of itself. Subai then picked up Little Turtle, saying, "All right, you've eaten your share. Let's leave this place quickly." The scene then shifts to the school. Teacher Lee told the students that the results for cultural studies had been released and that she would be consolidating their application intentions. She also announced that a special recruitment teacher from Wuda University would be coming to the school to evaluate candidates for their special abilities. As with last year, there would be 2 guaranteed admission spots. While filling out the application, Yanran asked Subai if he had thought it through, and if he was applying for Wen College or Wuda University. Subai told her that it would be Wuda University. He was determined to get in. Yanran was shocked and asked, "Subai, didn't I tell you to apply for Wen College with me? Those who enter Wuda University must go to the battlefield. Do you know how dangerous that is?" But Subai replied, "There has to be someone who goes to the front lines. So, this suits me just fine." He smiled at Yanran and told her that his reason for going to the front lines was to protect someone important to him. He was referring to his family, but Yanran misunderstood, thinking, "Someone important? Could it be me that Subai is talking about?" Suddenly, a teacher came over and asked Yanran which academy she was applying to. Yanran didn't respond right away. Subai thought she probably hadn't awakened any special abilities and had never trained physically, so she would likely choose Wen College. After some thought, Yanran told the teacher that she hadn't made up her mind yet and wanted to think about it a little longer. Teacher Lee reminded the students that this was a crucial decision for each of them, advising them to take their results home and discuss their choices with their parents. She informed them that they must submit their application intentions by midnight. With that, class was dismissed, and everyone returned home. Later, Yanran returned home, and while she was taking a bath, she called Subai. Blushing, she told him that she had decided to apply to Wuda University as well. Subai, who was cleaning his house at the time, was surprised to hear that Yanran had applied to Wuda University. He asked her if she was joking, but Yanran replied that she had made her decision and also wanted to send him a surprise. While they were talking, Subai noticed Little Turtle stealing food again. He told Yanran that he had something important to handle and would talk to her later. As soon as he ended the call, he yelled at Little Turtle, calling it a good-for-nothing for eating so much. The scene then shifts to the next day. All the students gathered in the stadium, and Teacher Lee was on stage, warmly welcoming military martial arts instructor Jang Kai. He was their principal as well as their senior. Instructor Jang came onto the stage and told the students, "1 year ago, 126 people entered this school, and 65 of them are still alive. 2 years ago, 98 people entered, and only 32 of them are still alive. 3 years ago, 86 people entered, and 11 of them are still alive." Hearing this, all the students felt a chill. Instructor Jang continued, saying he wasn't trying to scare them, but wanted each one of them to understand that being here was not something to be proud of. They would face myriad challenges: duty, responsibility, danger, and the task of protecting their country. He told the students that Wuda is a place where the strong are cultivated, and asked if they wanted to be among their ranks. "Yes!" all the students shouted. Instructor Jang smiled and said, "Very good. I look forward to your performances in the examination." After the speech, the students began returning to their classes, but Teacher Lee asked Subai to stay. She and Instructor Jang approached him. Confused, Subai asked if there was an issue. Instructor Jang confirmed his name and then informed him that a space had been reserved for him at Wuda. He told Subai to head there immediately to prepare for the entrance examination. Subai was shocked to hear that someone like him, a broke student, had a reserved spot. Instructor Jang confirmed it and mentioned that a vehicle was waiting for him at the school's entrance. Everyone was surprised to hear about Subai's reserved spot. Some complained that it was favoritism, while others were jealous, wishing it were them. Subai took the bus and arrived at Wuda Academy along with other students. They were all amazed by the academy's grandeur. An instructor was waiting at the entrance and asked the students to follow him. Along the way, the students noticed a huge rock pillar in the center of the academy. The instructor told them that it bore the school's motto. Subai was impressed by the grand motto. The instructor then took them to collect their uniforms and guided them to the dormitories. He showed them the male dormitories and told them they could rest there for a while and change into their uniforms. He informed them that someone would announce the examination time shortly. Subai went to his assigned room, room 303. As he approached, he heard a voice from inside saying, "In the early stages of martial arts training, resources are the most important." Subai announced that he was here, but there was no response. Inside, he found 3 roommates. A red-haired boy took out a bottle and said, "My father managed to purchase 3 drops of extremely rare monster blood at U Mountain. He asked an experienced pharmacist to make it into 3 bottles of top-quality medication. This isn't something you see every day." The other 2 boys were amazed, with one asking, "Is this what rare monster blood looks like? I've never seen it." The other added, "I've bought similar products, but it's also my first time seeing something like this." While they were talking, Subai entered the room. He introduced himself as Subai, who had also been assigned to dormitory 303. The red-haired boy introduced himself as Han Jiagang and said, "So you're Subai. Everyone's here then." He introduced the other 2 boys as Tao Jiajun and Fan Chaoan. Subai said, "It's nice to meet you all." Jiagang smiled and told him he didn't need to be so polite. They were all dorm mates after all. He asked Subai to come over and take a look, explaining that Han Jiagang's father had sent him some rare monster blood. Proudly, Han Jiagang told Subai that his father had to send people all over the country to acquire it. When Subai heard U Mountain and 3 drops mentioned, he wondered if it could be the same blood he sold to the pet shop owner. He asked Han Jiagang if such rare blood was expensive. Han Jiagang boasted, "Not really. Each drop only cost around 30,000, so not even 100,000 in total. It's practically spare change." Hearing it was sold for 90,000, Subai became very angry, thinking, "That slimy bastard. I sold it for 30,000, and he sold it off for nearly 100, blasted middlemen." While they were talking, a commotion erupted outside. The students from the dormitory were going crazy after spotting a super beautiful girl downstairs. A guy commented that he was voting for her in this year's beauty contest, saying, "That figure, those legs, she's our goddess." When the dormitory warden saw the girl, she asked who she was looking for since this was the men's dormitory. Subai's roommates were amazed, saying, "Wuda really is something. She's amazing." They all wondered why she came. The girl, as it turned out, was Yanran, Subai's future waifu. She told the warden that she was looking for Subai. The warden turned to the dormitory and shouted, "If there's a Subai, come out! There's a pretty girl waiting for you downstairs." Hearing this, Han Jiagang and the others looked back, surprised that their roommate, Subai, was the one she was looking for. They all swarmed him, amazed at his luck, unable to believe that the school's beauty came just to see him. Fan Chaoan commented, "Brother Subai might be more than he seems." When Subai went downstairs, Yanran complimented him, saying, "Subai, that uniform suits you." She moved closer, adjusted his clothes, and said, "Now you look even more handsome." Subai started blushing with her so close. Seeing Yanran help Subai adjust his clothes, all the boys from the dormitory grew jealous, shouting, "Die, you lucky bastard! Don't lay a finger on our goddess!" Yanran then mentioned the reserved spot at Wuda and asked if he was upset. Subai told her he wasn't, but he had planned to sit for the test himself. Then he patted her head, saying, "Still, you did it for me, so thank you." Yanran laughed and told him she was worried he'd be angry, but was grateful he thanked her instead. She handed him a bag, saying, "The entrance examination is the day after tomorrow. I prepared some pills for you." Subai, surprised, told her she'd helped him enough, and that she should save them for herself. But Yanran ignored his excuses and ran off after saying goodbye. The students from the dormitory were furious, muttering, "Who is this guy? Did he touch her head? Find out who he is. He's competing for her heart." When Subai returned to his room, Han Jiagang and the others started calling him brother, with newfound respect, surprising him. They started massaging his shoulders, asking, "Who was that goddess?" Confused, Subai asked, "What goddess?" Jiagang chuckled, "Brother, you're too humble. We're talking about the goddess you were just talking to." Subai told them they were high school classmates. Hearing that, Han Jiagang moved closer and said, "Brother Su, since we're dorm mates, I'm sure you could convince that goddess to bring some of her friends over." Subai hesitated before replying. Seeing him hesitate, Han Jiagang suggested that, since it was Subai's first time meeting them, they should take him out for a good dinner and chat. Without waiting for Subai's response, they finalized the plan and told him to rest up and get ready to go out that night. Then they all left the room. Watching them decide on their own, Subai thought, "These guys are really interesting." He then picked up his bag, took out Little Turtle, and let it out to get some fresh air. Checking the bag Yanran had given him, he found a blood essence potion. Little Turtle's eyes lit up at the sight of it. Seeing that Little Turtle liked it, Subai laughed mischievously and asked if it knew what it should do after consuming it. Little Turtle, scared of Subai's expression, seemed hesitant. Later, Subai and his roommates went to a high-end hotel. Seeing the place, Subai asked Han Jiagang, "Don't you think coming to such a fancy hotel is a bit too much?" Han Jiagang laughed and told Subai to relax and enjoy himself, leaving the rest to his brothers. In the room, Han Jiagang raised his glass, saying, "I, Han Jia, feel extremely lucky to have met you all at Wuda, especially an amazing person like Brother Su. A toast to you all." Subai asked them to take a seat, saying, "Since we're all dorm mates, there's no need to be so formal." Once they settled down, Subai told Han Jiagang that he was high school classmates with Lin Yanran, so he could probably arrange for her to introduce some of her friends, but they could discuss that in the future. Subai then told Han Jiagang that he needed his help. Han Jiagang asked, "What do you need help with?" Subai took out a vial of red blood essence and placed it on the table, saying, "It's not a big deal, really. I just have some rare monster blood and would like your help with it." Both Jiajun and Fan Chao were shocked to see it. Looking at the potion, Jiajun said, "Han Jia, Brother Su's monster blood seems to be of even better quality than yours." Han Jiagang examined the vial and told Subai that this blood was better than anything he had ever seen. Han Jiagang pulled out his smartphone, telling Subai that the blood was extremely rare and that he would call his father to send someone over to evaluate it. Subai told him not to rush and suggested they enjoy their meal first, but Han Jiagang had already dialed his father's number. When Han Jiagang's father answered, he immediately began nagging, "Little Jia, you've burned through your pocket money again, haven't you? I sent you to Wuda to get stronger, not to waste time." Han Jiagang quickly cut in, "Dad, I don't want money. This is serious. My classmate has 7 drops of precious rare monster blood that he wants to sell. It's of even higher quality than the 3 drops you got last time, so I couldn't decide on a price." "What? 7 drops?" his father asked in shock. "Are you sure it's better quality than last time?" Han Jiagang confidently invited his father to come and see it himself. Hearing his son's certainty, his father said, "Send me your location. I'll send Master Chao over immediately." An hour later, Han Jiagang's father arrived with Master Chao. When Master Chao examined Subai's monster blood, he remarked, "This is simply exquisite. It's the purest monster blood with the highest energy content I've ever seen. I could make incredible things with this." Han Jiagang's father looked surprised and asked, "Master Chao, isn't that a bit of an exaggeration?" Master Chao replied, "Not at all. Even with the best equipment, the value of this blood would only increase." Han Jiagang, amazed, exclaimed, "Damn! Brother Su, who knew your monster blood was this OP?" Master Chao approached Subai and, with respect, said, "Young man, what's your price for this monster blood?" Subai told him that his friend had advised that this blood shouldn't be sold for money, only exchanged for blood essence of equivalent value. Hearing this, Han Jiagang's father said, "Subai, since you're classmates with little Jia and I'm your senior, I wouldn't dream of shortchanging you. I'll take it all, and you'll get 14 bottles of blood essence in return. How does that sound?" Subai agreed and thanked him. Han Jiagang's father smiled and asked Subai if he would like to join the Han family, promising to provide him with resources for free. Subai thanked him for the offer but explained that he wasn't planning on joining a family just yet. Han Jiagang's father pressed him to reconsider, but suddenly, a loud voice came from outside. It was Yanran, who opened the door and said, "Subai said he didn't want to join a family, so no one is allowed to force him." She was visibly angry and asked Han Jiagang's father if he understood. Subai was surprised to see Yanran there and asked her why she had come. Yanran replied that she was there to settle her own business, but hadn't expected to run into him. Seeing Yanran's attitude, Han Jiagang's father grew angry, but Master Chao quickly intervened and informed him of Yanran's background. Han Jiagang's father was shocked and frightened upon learning her background. He quickly explained to Yanran that it was all a misunderstanding, saying that Subai and his son were just classmates and good friends. Hearing this, Yanran calmed down and asked Subai if he was heading back to school, suggesting they go together. Since Subai had finished his business, he agreed, said goodbye to everyone, and left with Yanran. Watching them go, Han Jiagang called out, saying he was going back to school as well, and started to follow, but his father stopped him. Han Jiagang's father advised him to build a good relationship with Subai, because the Han family's future might depend on it. He also instructed him to keep a safe and respectful distance from Lin Yanran. Han Jiagang was stunned, realizing that his friend Subai and the goddess Yanran were indeed very impressive. 2 days later, at the military training field at Marshall University, all the freshmen gathered on the university grounds. Instructor Jang addressed the students, announcing that over the next few days, they would participate in freshman special training, which would take place in the battlefield of all races. Hearing this, many students were scared, asking if they were really going to the battlefield of all races for training. fearing it was far too dangerous. Failing the training was one thing, but losing their lives was another. Instructor Jang reassured them, saying the area designated for their training had already been cleared, and that the instructors would ensure their safety. He continued, explaining that they would be divided into groups of 50, each led by a bronze-level instructor, who would act as their homeroom teacher and assign their training tasks. He wished all the freshmen a victorious return. After the announcement, Yanran came running to Subai, very excited, and told him they had been assigned to the same class. Subai smiled and asked if she arranged that on purpose. As they talked, a female instructor appeared and called for Class 8 to gather. Class 8 was the group that included Yanran, Subai, and his roommates. The red-haired instructor introduced herself as Liao Yuxin, their special training instructor. All the boys were going crazy over the beautiful instructor. Instructor Liao told them that she would be the one assigning all their training tasks, and their first task was to write a will. The students were shocked to hear this. Instructor Liao explained that they had one day to write their wills and would need to be at the teleport plaza by 8 a.m. the next day, as they would be departing for the battlefield of all races. The students were scared. One student exclaimed, "Is there really a risk to our lives? I still want to carry on the family line." Another said, "I'm going to write my will. There's so much I need to leave for my parents." Hearing this, Yanran asked Subai if he had any plans. He told her he didn't have much to prepare and would head back to the dorm first. While both Yanran and Subai were relaxed, Han Jiagang and the others were anxious. With the battlefield ahead, they felt there was a lot to prepare. When everyone returned to the dormitory, Han Jiagang invited Subai, saying that since they were heading to the battlefield the next day, he was taking the boys out for a good time that night. He asked Subai to join them, but Subai declined, saying he had other things to take care of, and told them to go enjoy themselves. Han Jiagang understood and agreed. As he was leaving, he noticed Subai's little turtle eating in a corner. He patted the turtle and said, "Brother Su, your little pet turtle is something. Its shell is tough." Subai told Han Jiagang that the turtle was named Little 8, but that it had a bit of a gluttonous side. Little turtle didn't like being called a glutton, pouting in response. After that, Han Jiagang and the other two roommates left the room. Meanwhile, Little Turtle finished its plate and asked Subai for more food. Subai said, "You little glutton. All you think about is eating. Fine, I'll let you eat all you want today. But once we're on the battlefield of all races, you'd better perform well." He gave Little Turtle more blood essence, which it immediately drank. Subai laughed and told Little Turtle to slow down, reassuring it that no one would take the food away. As he was feeding Little Turtle, a system notification popped up, congratulating him because his pet, Little Turtle, had leveled up to a high-rank ordinary exotic beast. Due to this, Subai's level had also increased, and Little Turtle had gained a new talent, Heavy Strike. Subai checked the status window and saw that his tamed beast, Little Turtle, was now high-rank ordinary. Its attributes had increased significantly. Physical strength was 64, defense was 78, agility was 20, and mental strength was 20. It now had 3 talents: Turtle Shell Defense, Turtle Skin Defense, and Heavy Strike. The new Heavy Strike talent consumed stamina to increase attack power by 100% to 200%. The more stamina consumed, the stronger the attack. Subai then checked his own status window and found that he had also leveled up to high-rank ordinary. His physical strength was 28, with 15 as his base strength and 13 points inherited from his beast. His agility was 19, and mental strength was 34. He now had 3 talents: Infinite Evolution, Turtle Skin Defense, and Heavy Strike. The new talent worked the same as Little Turtle's, consuming stamina to enhance his attacks. Subai was amazed, realizing that the blood essence was incredibly effective. Little 8 leveled up again, and these stat boosts are insane. He looked at Little Turtle and said, "Nice, Little 8. When we get to the battlefield of all races, let's go all out together." Now, both Subai and his Little Turtle were ready for the battlefield. The next day, all the students gathered in the field. Instructors reported to Chief Instructor Jang that all trainees were geared up and ready for battle. Chief Instructor Jang ordered a soldier to open Teleport Formation 1 and prepare for teleportation. The teleport formation activated, ready to transport students to the battlefield of 10,000 beasts. Seeing such a huge teleport formation, the students were amazed, saying, "Only Martial University has something like this." Yanran, feeling worried about Subai, told him to be careful once they were on the battlefield of all races. Subai reassured her, saying they would complete the mission safely. They wished each other good luck and approached the teleportation formation. Instructor Liao advised them to relax their bodies and prepare for teleportation. One by one, the students entered the formation and were instantly transported to the military base within the battlefield of all races. They were surprised by how epic the military base looked and how quickly they arrived. Instructor Liao stood at attention and asked Group 8 to quiet down. She apologized to Lieutenant Hunter, saying, "They're just rookies who haven't seen much." The man in front of her introduced himself as the Deputy Lieutenant of Military Base F-269 and told the students they could call him Deputy Lieutenant or Sir. He continued, "Here, I don't care if you're a student or an instructor. On my turf, you follow my orders." He asked if they understood, and everyone shouted, "Understood, sir." Seeing the lieutenant, Han Jiagang muttered, "So what if he's a deputy lieutenant? What's the big deal?" Subai pointed out the scar on the lieutenant's face, noting it showed he was an experienced officer. The lieutenant then informed the students they were in luck because his team had just returned from a battle. Their first task would be to clean the battlefield and, while doing so, eliminate any remaining phantom cats. He said it was the perfect job for rookies to get their first taste of battlefield experience. With a serious expression, he added that eliminating the phantom cats would earn them military merit points, which could be exchanged at the logistics department for blood vitality powder and various grades of body tempering elixirs to strengthen themselves. Hearing this, Jiajun got excited, exclaiming, "Truly, fortune comes with risk." Han Jiagang added, "No wonder so many risk their lives to come to the battlefield of myriad clans." Seeing them eager, the lieutenant smiled and said, "You little brats look ready to give it a try. Good. Move out immediately. Follow me." Everyone was thrilled. As they followed the lieutenant, Subai thought to himself that he needed to gather enough military merit points to exchange for elixirs. Little 8 would have a feast as well. The lieutenant first led them to some injured soldiers, explaining that these were the wounded, just back from the battlefield. Seeing the injured soldiers, Jiajun asked if they had been hurt while dealing with the phantom cats. Han Jiagang replied, "No way. Aren't phantom cats the weakest beasts? How could they be so terrifying?" Seeing the injured soldiers, some students grew scared and exclaimed, "Even the weakest phantom cats are this dangerous? How am I going to survive and make it home?" "Enough chatter," Instructor Liao shouted. She asked them if they thought the battlefield of myriad clans was a playground, reminding them that since they enrolled at Wuda, they must always be prepared to face danger. Yanran, seeing the injured soldiers, was scared and asked Subai to stay close to her once they were on the battlefield, as she didn't want anything to happen to him. Subai, understanding the danger, decided to stay vigilant in the myriad clan's battlefield and reminded Yanran to be careful too. When they arrived at the gate, a soldier reported to the deputy lieutenant that they were currently executing their assignment to guard the northern gate and that they had killed 35 ferocious beasts attacking the camp that day. The lieutenant praised them for a job well done and ordered them to open the main gate, allowing the recruits to see what the myriad clan's battlefield truly looked like. At the deputy lieutenant's command, the soldiers opened the main gate. Instructor Liao told the students that with Deputy Commander Hunter leading the team, this was a rare opportunity and encouraged them to make sure to perform well. "Understood, Instructor," everyone shouted. Seeing the students' energy, the lieutenant smiled and said, "Brats, you've all left your wills at the mail depot, right? Because from this moment on, you will be constantly walking with death." When the main gate opened, the students saw soldiers battling fierce beasts. Han Jiagang was amazed, exclaiming, "Is this what a battlefield is like? How gruesome." One of the soldiers fighting the beasts turned around, noticing their captain. He approached, saluted, and asked why the captain had personally come. The lieutenant told him to talk less and assemble a team of soldiers to help protect this batch of students. The soldier replied, "Yes, sir," and left to gather a team. Instructor Liao explained to the students that they would be heading to Area F-260, where there was a patch of forest. Most of the monsters there had already been killed, and their mission was to retrieve the monster cores from the human cats in the area. After the explanation, the lieutenant stepped forward and shouted, "Rookies, are you ready?" "We're ready, sir," all the students replied in unison. Meanwhile, the assembled strike team received orders to follow and protect the students. As they began moving, the strike team leader approached Instructor Liao and assured her there was nothing dangerous about clearing out a battlefield. Laughing, he remarked that sending these newbies to the front lines would be a waste, as they would be like nobodies on the battlefield. He then turned to Captain Fu and asked why he was personally leading the team. Captain Fu replied, "Strike team leader, you talk too much. Don't ask pointless questions." Hearing this, the strike team leader stopped. Instructor Liao thanked Captain Fu for his assistance, and he responded, "It's nothing. These students are all warriors on the battlefield. It's my duty to protect them." Meanwhile, at Didu, the highest military command post in Long, a soldier rushed to report an urgent issue to the senior officer. He informed him that there was a latest report from the battlefield of all races. A large horde of monsters had broken through the defenses. Currently, 12 powerful golden-ranked individuals from the Yuming Cats tribe were involved in the fight, attacking 12 military camps in the southwest, from D128 to D140. The senior officer instructed the soldier to determine the monster's direction and send word to the other camps to prepare for an attack. The new students from Wuda are entering the battlefield to practice their skills. They are Long's future. They must be protected at all costs. Meanwhile, at Area F-269, all the students arrived at the battlefield they had to clear. Instructor Liao told them that when clearing a battlefield, time was of the essence. Every minute they stayed was another minute they were in danger. Hearing this, everyone immediately got to work. Subai and Yanran were working together. Yanran told Subai that the hides, blood, flesh, claws, and teeth of the Yuming cats could be used to make weapons and medicines. Subai replied, "No wonder so many people would want to come to such a dangerous place. There are rare materials everywhere. My little turtle is going to eat well again." Looking at his inventory, Subai decided he would collect a few more cores and exchange them for blood spirit essence, thinking that would help little turtle level up again. But while checking his inventory, a sudden system warning popped up, alerting him to extreme danger. 164 Yuming cats were rapidly approaching, obviously hostile, and only 3 kilometers away, in the southwest forest. The system advised him to stay on guard, marking the threat as a 5-star high-level threat, with a life-threatening danger level of 4 stars. Subai was shocked, as the last time the system gave him a warning, it was only for a beginner-level martial artist. This was a 5-star life-threatening situation. Seeing Subai's alarmed expression, Yanran asked what was wrong. Without explaining, Subai ran to Instructor Liao, who was in a tree, and told her he sensed a large horde of monsters moving towards them from the southwest. Hearing this, Instructor Liao looked in that direction but saw nothing. She came down angrily and said, "Subai, this is a battlefield, not a playground. Do you know what will happen if you cause mass panic?" Subai tried to explain that he wasn't joking, and that there really was a horde of monsters approaching. Hearing the commotion, Captain Fu came over. Looking sternly at Subai, he said, "Subai, you say you can sense monsters, but I can guarantee there are none within 2 kilometers. Subai insisted, explaining that there were over 100 Yuming cats 3 kilometers away, moving towards them. Captain Fu didn't believe him, and asked if Subai thought his senses were sharper than his own. Instructor Liao told Captain Fu not to waste time on this, suggesting that Subai might be overreacting, as it was his first time on a battlefield. While no one else believed Subai, Yanran did. She told Captain Fu that no one should make a judgment before verifying the truth. Left with no choice, Subai stepped forward and pleaded with everyone to believe him, insisting that the monsters were getting closer. He explained that, as a monster tamer, he had an extraordinary sense for danger. Instructor Liao was surprised to hear that Subai had such a skill. She asked why the school hadn't recorded it. Subai replied that he was guaranteed a place at Wuda, so his special abilities hadn't been noted. The students were shocked to hear that Subai had special abilities. One guy said, "If Subai has the ability to tame monsters, why haven't I seen anything he's tamed?" While they were talking, a loud noise suddenly came from the southwest. Some students came running, shouting that Yuming cats were indeed approaching. Instructor Liao asked if they were sure, and the students confirmed that a whole lot of them were on their way. Hearing the news, Captain Fu ordered everyone to form a defensive formation. He instructed the messengers to contact the base and request reinforcements. The messenger returned with an update from the base. The surrounding camps were also under attack, so no reinforcements could be sent. Instructor Liao asked Captain Fu if there were truly over 100 Yuming cats, expressing concern that the students couldn't fight them without support. Captain Fu drew his weapon and confirmed that Subai's senses had been accurate. He could now sense the approaching horde of monsters himself. He ordered the strike team leader to assign 4 soldiers to protect the students. Subai, wanting to join the fight, told Captain Fu there was no need to protect him. Suddenly, a Yuming cat, a monster at the early bronze stage, appeared and immediately leaped to attack. Captain Fu and the soldiers started shooting at the monsters, ordering a retaliatory defense to protect the students. However, the regular soldiers were no match for the Yuming cats, which were more like tigers than cats. Nevertheless, Captain Fu and the instructors managed to kill some of them. Captain Fu instructed everyone to stay in their defensive formation, saying, "As long as we can withstand their initial attack, we'll be able to beat them." While they fought, some monsters sneaked past and attacked the students. The strike team leader shouted for the students to watch out. As the monsters closed in, the students raised their shields and chanted, "By the honor burning in my chest, my country will never fall." As they chanted, their bodysuits began glowing, forming a magical barrier around them. Before the monsters could reach the students, two stood at the back and moved forward to take on the attackers. The first student was Jang Mani, an early bronze stage hunter. She told her partner to keep the monsters restrained while she shot them down. Her partner, Luo Yong, also an early bronze stage hunter, fought with a longsword and told Mani, "It's just a bunch of cats. There's nothing to be scared of. I'll deal with them." Instructor Liao recognized them as the holy archer Jang Mani and the divinely powerful Luo Yong. She remarked, "This batch of students is really something." Subai was amazed by how powerful and impressive they were, with their advanced weapons, while his only weapon was Little Turtle. Seeing Mani and Luo Yong, the other students grew excited. Jiajun commented, "This blockhead is really powerful. He looks even more formidable than Brother Su." While everyone was focused on Mani and Luo Yong, they didn't notice a soldier struggling with a monster. Suddenly, a loud roar came from the forest, causing everyone to cover their ears. When the sound ceased, a large monster emerged from the forest, and all the Yuming cats knelt before it. The new monster was the king of the Yuming cats, a middle silver stage beast with a constitution of 45, agility of 88, and spirit of 43. Captain Fu was shocked to see the king of the Yuming cats, and couldn't understand why a silver stage cat king had appeared here. He immediately ordered the messenger to contact the base again and request reinforcements. Unaware of the monster's strength, Mani and Luo Yong charged at it. Luo Yong jumped to attack with his sword, while Mani supported him by restricting the monster's vision. When Instructor Liao saw them charging at a silver stage monster, she was terrified and shouted, "Mani, Luo Yong, come back now. This is a silver stage monster, not your plaything." But it was already too late. The king of the cats made its move and struck with its claws, taking down both Mani and Luo Yong in a single attack. They fell to the ground, losing their weapons. Instructor Liao urged them to return, but Captain Fu told her it was too late. He ordered his soldiers to provide cover fire as the king of the Yuming cats leaped again, aiming to strike down the soldiers. That's all for today, everyone. Before we wrap up, I want to extend a huge thanks to Nada, Must Be KY, Stephen Feth, and That Guy Ward, the new members of our channel. Welcome to the family, guys. We've recently launched a membership program here, where you can enjoy perks like early access to videos and soon, exclusive content just for members. You'll also receive custom badges and emojis to enhance your interactions. If you're interested, consider joining our membership to enjoy these benefits. Check out the link in the description to join. See you all in the next video.